I'm going to be working on a bit more mounting stuff with Castor. So more sitting on him, more feeding from above, and just moving around and stuff like that. So going to be just a short clip of that. So I want to ask him to bend and go ahead and grab a treat. So I want my cue to be a couple taps on the shoulder. That's what I'll tell him which side he's going to get the reinforcement from when I'm on his back. So I want to kind of start that now from the ground and get him used to that so that that's something that he does. So here I'm going to do it from the other side, and he can practice looking at me from each eye. So he's obviously sees me in his left eye, but now he can see me out of his right eye. So I'm just leaning over, tapping on his shoulder. He comes around and gets his treat. And this also gives me a good idea of where he's at mentally. Like, is he swinging his head really quickly and telling me that he's really tense, or is he taking it really calmly? So you can tell when he bends to the left, he's a lot calmer than he is to the right. So we still need some work on bending to the right. And that just might be because he sees me in a different eye and I'm above him. But just kind of notice that. So if you do this exercise, you pay attention to that. But I'm still just working on getting my leg over and just like sitting for a second, like here, just kind of like putting some weight on him, and then maybe see if I can feed him. Like that was excellent. So I'm putting the things together before I ever get on. So we worked on having him get the treat, and then I'm somewhat on, and then he can get the treat, because that's what I'm gonna do once I'm up on him. Like, I'm just kind of mixing things now because I want to be able to sit on him and then give him a treat. And then like sometimes I'll get all the way off the mounting block and then give him the treat after I've sat on him. Later on, like I'll sit on him and then get off the other side and give him a treat. So I just want it to be variety. I don't want him to get stuck on one thing, and I want to do a lot of movement on his back. Like, sit on him for a couple seconds, I'll get off one way, I'll get off the other way, and obviously I build this up. It's not going to all happen on this lesson, but it needs to be built up in different ways so that when I am riding him, he's used to that. He's like, sometimes she gets off this side, sometimes she gets off that side, sometimes I get a treat while she's on me, sometimes she gets off. Like, it's important that he has this variability, so he doesn't get tense when a certain thing he thought was going to happen doesn't happen. So if I only give him reinforcement on that left side when I'm sitting on him, like if I want to give him on the right side, he might be tense. So that's a good idea to do in practice. He was very relaxed here. He looked great. I loved his body language there. Fantastic. I love where he's at when I go to swing my leg over. So he's just got his neck nice and relaxed. He's just chewing his treat, just working on moving my leg up and down, making sure he's cool with that. I kind of bend my leg at the, or I bend my leg at the knee and kind of have like touch him on the hindquarters just in case, I were to get on him and my foot would touch him. So that time I did a couple of foot lifts and like put my leg over before I clicked and rewarded him there. So again, just mixing things up. He already knows these behaviors separately. So I've already worked on getting up the mounting block. We've already worked on flexing to get a treat. I've already worked on my leg touching him on his side and my leg touching on his back and my leg being on the other side. So now like here we're putting it together. And sometimes I did these exercises from the fence as well. If you go back and watch those videos, I prefer to do this from the mounting block. I just feel like it's easier for me. There's less like shifting for me, like less moving around. As far as I think it is, I like it this way. If you have a bigger horse and are a smaller person or shorter person, the fence might be a better option for you, but I really like mounting block, and I just can kind of mess around with it. And my husband made me this mounting block, so it works out really well. And Castor's fairly short Mustang, and I'm fairly tall, so it kind of works out. Like, I can just get on and off of him, and it's pretty easy. But you might have to get a big mounting block made, or use the fence, or use something else that you could use as a mounting block. But I was just kind of moving his lead rope around, getting him used to just some movement. I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the other side. So you can tell he's a little bit more tense on this right side, so that's telling me I need to do some more work on this side. I probably spent a little bit too much time on this left side because like that. Okay, so he was a lot better getting his treat on that left side when I reached over than he was the other way around. So when I was just on his left side giving it to the right side, he was a lot more tense. So I just need to work on this right side a little bit more. And I love how as soon as I swing over, he was just kind of like, whatever. See, he's really tense right there. I need to work on this side. So not going to be perfect. His left side looks much better than his right. So I need to do a lot more work over here. He's kind of looking for the treat. I'm not really worried about that. I don't want head swinging. This looks really nice. That looks better. But I don't mind if he kind of lifts his head and tilts it a little bit to kind of see me. I'm okay with that. So do some patting here, some moving around, sees me on the other side, which is also helpful that he's short because it's really easy for me to like put my arms on the other side of him and have him see me out of both eyes from a pretty early stage versus a really tall horse. It'd be a lot more difficult to do that. But you do what you gotta do and use your mounting block or your fence and figure something out. But I'm just gonna kind of move him over. He wanted to like step forward, and then he's offering me this left side. So I was like, no, I just want you to go to the other side. So I wanted to try just maneuvering him from the block, which he hasn't really done a lot of, and he actually did really well there. But you could tell where he wanted to present that left side. So again, he's thinking, okay, I only do this left side. He's more comfortable on that side. He offered that side for me. So need to be working on this right side a bit more. But overall, pretty good. I'm happy with his progress. He's kind of leaning toward me there. So I just kind of ask him gently to move away. And I don't mind him kind of taking a step toward the block. I'm okay with that. Again, a little bit tense, grabbing the treat. So we got to work on that. Probably should have kind of stepped back here and just worked on treat taking from the mounting block without being on him. Work on that a little bit, just like we did on the left side, but even more so with this tension he has there. Instead of working too much on the sitting, there I did a couple seconds. He was actually very good, and that was better with the treat taking. So I just want to kind of separate those things and work on that treat taking from the right side before I move on.